We are back. We got a 2-game slate breaking down the semifinals of the in-season tournament. We got the Pacers, Bucks, as well as the Pelicans and the Lakers. Welcome, guys. My name is DK. Again, this video breaking down the 2-game daily fantasy sports slate. I also cover content for player pop sites like Prize Picks. Guys, if you have been watching my Prize Picks videos recently, you know we're on a heater, and that continued tonight. 4 straight YouTube sweeps. We hit Vucevic over PRA as well as Sadiq Bey over PRA. So hoping to keep that going. I'll have a video up after this talking about a couple of props that I like for tomorrow. Also, if you guys are looking for more content for DFS or for prop stuff, you can check my Patreon linked down below. Let's take a look at the odds here. So what I have up right now is the Odds Jam Sportsbook screen for these 2 games. So basically what it's showing is the average odds, as well as if you wanted to bet on the game, which book offers the best odds. The Pacers Bucks, we got almost a 255 over under. The Bucks are 4-point favorites, and Pelicans Lakers sitting about a 229.5 over under with the Lakers 1.5-point favorites. And they have positive EV book, Fantasy Optimizer for sites like those player prop sites, Prize Picks, Underdog, Parlay Play, Boom Fantasy, all that stuff. Shows you like percentage of percent chance of a prop to hit. So if you guys are interested in signing up for OddsJam, you can use the code DKDFS or the link down below for 25% off your first month. All I'm going to say is if you are serious about making money, whether it be betting on sports or with props, highly recommend OddsJam. Okay, so let's take a look back at my lineups here. So this was last night. It was a kind of a gross 2-game slate, right? And I was looking like I was going to cash, and then unfortunately my boy Nurkic got in massive foul trouble. Barely played the first half. And then Booker also got in foul trouble. Also was a bit annoying. He kept getting double teamed. So I was close a few points out of the cash. But yeah, this is the lineup I went with. A little bit contrarian. A couple contrarian pieces I mixed in. Again, Portis, Campaign, Devin Booker. But yeah, the Nurk foul trouble is the big one that hurt me. Also, Booker getting double teamed every time I touched the ball was a little bit annoying as well. And then tonight, currently on the fringe of cashing, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I have Rozier, who went for almost 50. Vassell was solid. He was kind of my last piece in. DeRozan, PJ, Richards, Vooch. I had a lot of pieces from this Hornets-Bulls game. And then I have Simons, Jabari Walker in the late game. So we'll see how I finish. But yeah, so that's the recap of the last couple nights, and let's talk about the slate. This will be a bit of a shorter video because we only have 2 games, but we'll go in depth on the rotation. So start off with the Pacers and the Bucks, and I'm really high on Tyrese Haliburton. He's my favorite contrarian play. Him and Sabonis are my 2 favorite contrarian plays. The last 2 games slate, they both smashed. He's going to play huge minutes. Played 40 minutes last game. I'm expecting similar minutes. Again, both teams I expect to run a bit of tighter rotations. The Pacers especially ran a very, very tight rotation. Basically ran 7-man rotation. You saw a couple minutes from Nembhard, a couple minutes from McConnell, but that was about it. So I'm really high on Haliburton. I also do like Miles Turner. He saw the minutes increase. So for most of the season, he's been playing 25-ish minutes or so, high 20s minutes. Last game he played 34 minutes, and they did not play Isaiah Jackson at all. They went small behind him. So I think if you give 35 minutes again to a 7K Miles Turner, he's going to stand out as a pretty good play if he can avoid foul trouble. And these wings, Buddy Hield, 6.2K, played 32 minutes. I would expect high 20s to low 30s minutes. I think he's a fine contrarian play. I don't know if I'm going to prioritize Buddy Hield, but if he's really making a shots, we know this guy does have a ceiling. Obi Toppin at 5-1, played 30-plus minutes the previous 2 games, and only 26 last game. It's kind of the same thing I've said about the Pacers for a while. Even though they're going to run a bit of a tighter rotation, I still think the wings, they're going to go with a hot hand. So guys that I'm pretty sure will be in the closing line for the Pacers tomorrow, Haliburton, Turner, Bruce Brown. And then the other 2 are going to be, I think, whoever's playing the best between Hield and Toppin and Mathurin. And Naismith, too. So I think 2 of those 4 will be in the closing lineup alongside Haliburton, Turner, and Bruce Brown. And then Bruce Brown, we skipped over him, but I think he's very safe. He's going to play big minutes, 37, 36 minutes over the last couple games, a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. I like Bruce Brown a lot. I think he's again, super safe option. And then you got Mathurin at 4-7, who has played, been averaging mid-20s minutes a game. He is a guy that can put the ball in the bucket, so I do like his upside in tournaments. But if he really struggles, we know the Pacers can limit him. Naismith at 4-6 played big minutes, played 31 minutes. He didn't have the best game overall, but if you give him 31 minutes again for a 4.6K player, at least on this slate, that's going to stand out. So there's a lot to like from the Pacers, in my opinion. Not a lot of great value on the slate. And we have guys, like Bruce Brown and these other wings that, a couple of these wings are going to play big minutes. I think the Pacers look really good, especially with this high of a total. Andrew Nembhard only played 5 minutes last game. TJ McConnell only played 9 minutes, and Isaiah Jackson got a DNP. Now, if you're confident, if you want to take the risk and say, all right, I'm going to play one of these backup point guards and hope that they don't play the other one and hope that the one that I play maybe plays 15 to 20 minutes, I guess it's a small slate. Anything can happen, but I just don't think that's the direction that I want to go. So let's talk about the Bucks. Giannis, 11K going up against the Pacers. Yeah, you could say I have some interest in 11K Giannis in this matchup. So, yeah, obviously really like Giannis. He lost out in about 5 minutes there in the first half last game because of massive foul trouble, which did tilt me excited over fantasy score, but he still hit anyway. So, really like Giannis there at the top. I'm not going to say no to Dame Lillard either at 9K. Reasonable price point for him in a great spot. I mean, just a lot to like in this game, in my opinion. So the two main Bucks look good. Brook Lopez is 6.1K, should see low 30s minutes. If he has one of these games or goes for multiple blocks and steals, we know he can provide a pretty high ceiling. Most of the time, he's going to be somewhere in the 25 to 35 fantasy point range. But every once in a while, you get that game where Brook Lopez has like 6-7 blocks. So he's a solid option. Middleton at 5'9" is pretty popular, played 26 minutes. The game was a blowout. I think he could have played a little bit more there at the end. So I think like the upside of Middleton's minutes, I think around 30. And a sub 6K, I think he's a very safe play here in the mid-range. Malik Beasley is also playing huge minutes. I'm expecting mid-30s minutes from him. He's knocking out of shots. He does have a ceiling, so I think he's a decent option. Portis more of your GBP play. Only played 24 minutes last game. We know he's a good point per minute guy. And if he does play really well, they can extend his minutes, right? We've seen Milwaukee play the 3 big lineup with him, Giannis, and Brook Lopez before. So there is upside with Portis' minutes, right? There's a chance he plays really well. He could push for 30 minutes. So he's an interesting tournament play for me. And then we got to talk about these value plays. Campaign 3.9, I would expect probably low to mid-teens minutes. Played 14 minutes last game. Had a solid game. I think he's playable for value. Marshawn Beauchamp should play 15 to 20 minutes. Also playable, has nice eligibility. Again, you have to consider guys like this on this slate, right? I don't think I can get to AJ Green. He did play 15 minutes. I'm not convinced those minutes will be there again for him. I'm not convinced he plays, to be honest. And that's it for the Bucks. Also, one other thing to note, this is an early start. I noticed 4 p.m. Central. So just FYI, kind of weird. I know they're playing in Vegas, but I was like, wait, why is it 4 p.m.? Like, what is going on? Pelicans and Lakers, second game here. So starting off with Zion, I mean, the minutes have been disappointing on him. Even some competitive games, like he only played 28 minutes last game. Wasn't foul trouble. It's a little bit concerning. We did see for a little bit Zion was pushing mid-30s minutes. The minutes have ticked down on him. Now, does that make him out of play? No. I think he's a fine contrarian play. He's going to be low-owned. And is it possible? Like, could Zion play 36 minutes tomorrow? Yeah, I think it's in the range of outcomes. So he's going to be extremely low-owned. More of a contrarian play for me. Ingram and CJ, I think you're a safe place here. I'm expecting high 30s minutes for Ingram. He played 40 minutes last game. CJ McCollum played 36 minutes. Both are guys who can stuff a stat sheet as well. So those two are your much safer plays. They're going to be more owned. Zion more of your contrarian play. And then Jonas Valanciunas, again, without a backup 5, he fouled out in 29 minutes. I'm expecting around 30 minutes from him. Assuming no foul trouble, I think he's a good play. He's about a fantasy point per minute player, a little over that. And again, without Larry Nance, they don't have a ton of confidence in Cody Zeller. They are playing a little bit small ball with Zion at times. But yeah, I think JV's a solid option. Herbert Jones at 5'5". So he's going to play big minutes if he can avoid foul trouble. That's a big if, because who do I expect Herb Jones to be guarding? LeBron, right? Pretty sure they're going to put him on LeBron because he's their best defender. So 3 straight really good games for Herb Jones. I think he's going to be really popular. Ownership's going to play a big part in what I do here. If he's not going to be that popular, then I'm fine firing him up. But if he's going to be very popular on a small slate, when I think it's pretty good chance he gets in foul trouble, then I'm more looking to a fade. So Herb Jones, a lot of what I do with him tomorrow is going to depend on ownership. Trey Murphy, I like for value. I mentioned in the stream how I thought there was a decent chance that he could play a lot more because the Pelicans, the reason I said that, projection sites across the industry were only projecting him for like 22, 23 minutes. I said, I think there's a chance he plays 30. And the reason I said that is the Pelicans have really not been super cautious with minutes. Like CJ in his first game back, they somewhat limited him, but in his second game back, he played 38 minutes. So I was like, okay, I think Trey Murphy could play 30 minutes, and he did. 4.9K for Murphy, who is a guy that's going to shoot when he's out there. I like him for value. And then we have to talk about the rest of this bench rotation for the Pelicans. Dyson Daniels is basically out of the rotation, only played 6 minutes. It was Alvarado that played over him. And Alvarado played 18 minutes. I think he's a decent value play. I'm thinking he plays mid-teens minutes, maybe a little bit more. Now, is it possible that Daniels fills in the rotation and plays more minutes than Alvarado? Sure. But I think the Pelicans feel a little more comfortable right now with Alvarado, especially in a game like this. Like, Alvarado played big minutes for them last year in the playoffs. So I do have interest in Alvarado for value. Hawkins got a DNP. Najee Marshall, I'm expecting, around 15 minutes from him. Makes him playable, but don't love it. Cody Zeller might play a little bit. He played 5 minutes last game. But like I said, I think behind JV, they're going to try to go small. Because you look at the Lakers, really, behind Anthony Davis, they're probably going to go Rui as the backup 5. So I think the Pelicans can go small. Then finally, the Lakers, LeBron, AD. You got LeBron at 9-8, had a huge game last game. Also had 5 steals. I don't think we'd expect that again. Anthony Davis, 9-6. I prefer AD to LeBron. Playing AD over LeBron has been working out for the most part this season for me. And whenever they're at a similar price point, I'm going to give the edge to AD. Also, it's nice that Anthony Davis has power forward eligibility, right? That is a big plus. The 2 mid-range guys, D'Lo and Reeves. The Lakers, if D'Lo's struggling, they don't have to close them. There's been multiple games recently where they have not closed the D'Angelo Russell. But also, if he's playing really well, we've seen the ceiling on him. So D'Lo playable in tournaments. Austin Reeves coming off the bench. I don't think I would play both D'Lo and Reeves together because I don't know if they both close together. But there's a good chance one of these guys is in the closing lineup. I think more often than not, it probably will be Reeves. 6K, not an amazing price point for him, but still a guy that the Lakers do trust. And then you got the 2 3-and-D wings, Cam Reddish and Taurean Prince. Reddish played 30 minutes last game, didn't do much, but the minutes were appealing for him. 30 minutes for a guy at that price point. And Taurean Prince, 4.3, played 27 minutes. If these guys are going to be in that high 20s minute range, they're both firmly in play for me. Now, the issue with these two is they're pretty scoring dependent. So if they're not making their shots, they have a floor. Obviously, i.e. Cam Reddish, 30 minutes, 10 fantasy points last game, right? So Reddish and Prince, I think, are very similar plays. Now, here's another one, right? If tomorrow one of those two is getting way more ownership than the other, in a nutshell, I'm just going to prefer whoever's the lower owned option. Because I think those two are very, very similar. That being Reddish and that being Prince. Now, Rui, I didn't know how much he could play last game, but he played 21 minutes. So it doesn't look like there's a limit on Rui. Also, a DNP for Christian Wood, which I was kind of expecting. So I'm expecting, probably similar minutes for Rui Hachimura. At this price point, I do like him for value. Max Christie got the short end of the stick of those 3-and-D wings. He only played 8 minutes. Now, like I said, is it possible that, he plays really well in his 11 minutes and they extend him? Sure. But I'm just going to lean Prince and Reddish. Like, Prince and Reddish are not that much more expensive. So based on the minutes last game, I'm going to lean those guys. Wood was a DNP. Vanderbilt, I'm expecting 15 or so minutes. He's a fine punt play. Again, are you going to be excited about playing him? No. But if you do plug in a guy like Vanderbilt, it's really what it opens up for you. That's what I talked about last stream as well. The reason I played Vanderbilt last slate was just because, not because I was excited about Vanderbilt, it was just a price point thing. I needed someone super cheap, and I knew he'd be in the rotation. And then surprisingly, Jackson Hayes did play a little bit. I don't think he'll play in this game, just to be honest, because I don't think they need him against the Pelicans, because I expect the Pelicans to go small behind JV. So I think they could just X out Hayes here of the rotation. All right, so that's going to do it for the video. As always, guys, if you enjoyed, just make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We'll see you guys all in the next one.